will please come to order. And I'll call the January meeting of the Paulding County Airport Authority to order. Welcome to everyone that's here. I want to take this opportunity to welcome our new member, Harold Linenthal, was appointed and approved by the Board of Commissioners. Harold is a former DOT commissioner and has lived in Paulding County a long time, and we welcome him and his knowledge and expertise in transportation to this board.
Thank you.
You want to say anything?
Well, I just appreciate the opportunity to work with you folks. I have a sincere love for the airports around the state, the smaller airports, the communities, and what they can do for those communities. I've seen it firsthand, and I look forward to working with you folks and trying to work towards some of that here. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item of business will be the election of officers for the 2019 year. First office would be chairman. Is there a nomination for chair?
I'll nominate for the chair.
Have a nomination. Is there any others? If not, all those in favor of the nomination say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, then vice chair. There is a vacancy there. Is there a motion for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Mr. David Small for the position.
Have a nomination, David Small. Is there anyone else? David, you willing to do that for Lex?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other nominations? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome and thank you, David. The next item is the motion to approve a resolution recognizing Ellis Aston for his dedicated leadership in support of aviation in Paulding County. Tom, you want to read that for us?
I'd be glad to, Mr. Chairman. Whereas the Paulding County Airport Authority was created by an act of the Georgia General Assembly, whereas said authority is charged with the operation and management of Paulding Northwest Atlanta Airport and Silver Common Field, and whereas Ellis Aston, a resident of Paulding County for over 50 years, was appointed by the Board of Commissioners in 2001 to serve on the Airport Authority, and whereas Mr. Aston served as a member of the authority until December 31, 2018, and whereas Mr. Aston was selected by the authority to serve as its vice chairman, and whereas Mr. Aston's expertise in the excavation and grading business was invaluable to the authority, especially during the construction phases of the airport, and whereas during his tenure as an authority member, monumental feats were accomplished, including but not limited to purchasing the land and developing the airport, constructing a terminal building, and making substantial upgrades and improvements designed to help the airport be successful. Whereas in addition to his service to the authority, Mr. Aston has been a leader and servant to the Paulding County community generally, having served in multiple government and civic positions. And whereas the authority desires to acknowledge the hard work and talents of Mr. Aston for both the authority and the community, now therefore be it resolved by the Paulding County Airport Authority that Ellis Aston be recognized for his knowledge, skill, and years of service to the authority, the airport, and the people of Paulding County, Georgia. So resolved the 16th day of January 2019.
All right, you've heard the resolution. I would entertain a motion to adopt by unanimous consent.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That's good.
Ellis is here.
I see him. I'm
Do you want to
trying to.
hand him a plaque?
Yep, I'm doing the perfunctory work.
All right.
Ellis, if you would come forward, please.
Was quite interesting sitting out there.
That's the resolution.
Hold on, Phyllis.
A little plaque that will, you'll be able to remember your service by.
Smile, Robert. You're like a photo bomber there. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Anything you want to say?
Well, I want to thank the Board of Commissioners, the Airport Authority, and the citizens of Paulding County for trusting me with this position for the last 17 years. I've enjoyed serving with all the professionals on the board, past and present. And the mayor's stance or opinion on the airport, all citizens I consider my friend. So, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Ellis?
I wanted to say, having sat on the board with you, that I appreciate your knowledge of the airport, how it came to be, and you've carried us through all these years, and it will be missed, but thank you so much.
Thank you. If you ever need anything, know how to get in touch with me.
And Ellis, I want to personally thank you for all the help you've been to me in this 2.5 years that I've been up here. Couldn't have done it without you, and I appreciate you, and your phone will still ring.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. I think all of us that have known Aston all these many years know Ellis, I said Aston, know that he is a man of character and of good repute, and that he is always honest and forthright in giving his opinions, and I appreciate that. I appreciate his history, his lengthy history here in this county, and his family and their roots here goes back a long way, and helped develop the New Georgia community. Been so important, so vital to so many things in this county for a long time. So thank you, Ellis. All right, next with the introduction of Tom Moffitt, owner of Flying Tigers Flight School. Is Tom here? Hi there.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I'm Tom Moffitt, Flying Tigers Flight School. We have our first airplane on the ground. It's presently going through its 100-hour inspection, getting the discrepancies fixed for that. We should have our second airplane on the ground, hopefully within 2 or 3 weeks. We're a bunch of retired military and ex-military guys that train people for the Air Force forever, and we just want to keep going. We picked your place mainly because it's got everything we need. It's a great facility, it's well run, and we look forward to being on your team. Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome. I just noticed that we have Post Commissioner Sandy Caker in the audience with us this morning. I'd like to welcome her as she begins her term as a Post Commissioner on the Board of Commissioners. Thank you for being here, taking part. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the December 5th, 2018 meeting. You received a copy of those in your packet. Did anyone note any errors or omissions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve as printed.
Motion.
I have a motion, Mr. Nolan. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I will abstain since I was absent.
Likewise.
And Mr. Tidmore as well. Approval of the financial statements. You received a copy of those. If you've had a chance to review them, I'll entertain a motion to approve upon the motion.
Make a motion to approve the financial statements.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I would like to abstain. I did not receive mine, so I haven't had a chance to review.
Okay. Motion carries. Donations for the Paulding County Airport Authority, Paulding County High School Scholarship Fund are still being sought. You want to say anything about that?
Yes, so we have now been fully accepted by the Paulding County Board of Education representative for this scholarship. So this scholarship will be awarded this year. We are seeking qualified candidates that have aviation as a goal, a career goal. And we will have an opportunity later in the year to participate in that final selection process. So we'll be presented with hopefully several qualified candidates, and we'll have input into the final student that receives a $1,000 scholarship for the furtherance of aviation for that worthy student. And we currently have about $825, I think it is, so we, $800, so we still need a couple of $100 in that fund for this year. And so you guys come off the hip with some money, and let's make a donation to this fund and get it to a worthy student and see the continuation of education related to aviation in our community.
Chair, you'll have my donation today.
All right. It was you that suggested this, so I'm after you, Gary, to make sure you make that donation. I wasn't going to say that, but you brought it up. So.
I just want to make sure that off the hip makes it into the minutes.
As my beloved CEO says, you want to be successful, find a good parade, jump on it.
There you go. There you go. But thank y'all for supporting that. This is a very, very good thing that we're doing with the community.
All right. The next one is approval of the FY19 grant for $150,000 to remark the airfield pavement. This is an item that is 90% reimbursable.
I'll make the motion.
Well, hold on, I need to add some words to it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you can make the motion, and then I'll talk.
No. Well, you want to add the words to it?
And not add words to the motion, just
Oh,
an
okay.
explanation.
So then we can do that in discussion, but I'll make the motions for the approval.
I have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second.
Okay, I'm sorry. So this year, we have been awarded $150,000 in our federal grant program, the Capital Improvement Program, CIP, whatever name you want to call that by. And so we had originally started the year off with the idea that we would be reimbursed for some past wetlands mitigation. But the airfield marking has shown up for 2 consecutive inspections as being deficient, and so I made the decision that we needed to elevate that in importance, and it looks like we have the funds to cover that this year. So I'm going to ask y'all to approve the receipt of this grant this year in this amount. So the grant will be for $150,000. The project will actually be about $165,000. The GDOT has already approved the design phase of that, and we have to go through that activity before we can go out and get bids or quotes for the actual remarking itself. So that part will come a little later, and you will be asked to approve whatever the winning vendor is at that time, probably about 2 months from now. But it's important that we get this on the record so that GDOT can proceed with the grant process.
Since FY19 ends June 30th.
Correct. So we have a ticking clock.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll take another brief minute to welcome Post Commissioner Brian Stover. Came in, thank you for being here, thank you for your service. I'm also going to embarrass somebody probably. I see Bailey Edwards in the audience. Bailey is my new neighbor. They bought a historic house up the street from me. She just passed the bar earlier this year, and has been doing her law. She's a homegrown product with a rich family history here in the county through the Osborns, and she's now employed at Tally Richardson Cable. So glad to have you here and wish you great success. Next item, item 11, is a motion to approve Holt Engineering to authorize for work authorization for the pavement marking design in the amount of $15,516. Here, you want to add anything?
Yes,
to
so
that?
this is the first installment of that grant. Again, this work authorization has now been approved by the FAA, or excuse me, by Georgia DOT, who manages our grants on behalf of the FAA. And this is the initial step that is necessary to get us to the point where we've got an actual design that we can go out and get quotes on for remarking the airfield.
Is there a motion to approve the work authorization?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one is a request for a motion to approve work authorization for Rose and Reed Architects to develop plans to convert hangar from Group 2 to Group 3 in an amount not to exceed $25,000. Here, you want to introduce that?
I'm going to ask that we delay this until after executive session. There's some real estate related items to this, and I want to make sure y'all fully understand before I ask y'all to vote on this. So if you would, just delay this one until after executive session.
All right. Next item is the zoning change for airport property from R2 to I1. You want to introduce that?
Yeah, so this issue came up when we hired the appraiser for the release of the school property. And in the process of doing the appraisal, he came to me and said, do you realize you have the only airport in Georgia that you can put a pig farm on? And he said that he would suggest that we convert this to the proper zoning because it is an airport, it is light industrial, and for just for purposes going forward, it would be more appropriate for it to be I-2. So I have talked
It says I1.
I'm sorry, I-1. Please correct me, it's I-1. And I have spoken with Ms. Lippman, who wholeheartedly agrees that that this should be done so that the county is behaving in a way that we would expect private businesses and citizens to behave, and that is that the land should be zoned in accordance with what it's being used for. So it's a process that we will go through just like any other landowner. We will have to present a petition to Planning and Zoning. Ultimately, it will appear before the Board of Commissioners for approval or disapproval. And I'm asking for y'all to authorize me to shepherd that through the process so that our airport will be properly zoned I-1.
And this in no way affects the covenants and the overlays
No.
that do. All right, you've heard the request. Is there a motion to approve the request for rezoning?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion second. Any discussion?
I'd just like to underscore what Mr. Tibbetts said from the Community Development Director, Ian Lippman, is something that should have been done a long time ago. It's just kind of laid dormant for a number of years. So should have been taken care of. It's good to see that we're moving on that.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing real estate, personnel, and pending and possible litigation. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Nolan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chairman Carmichael. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Hopefully we won't be gone long. All right. I will report out that we adjourned the executive session, re-enter regular session with no action taken in executive session. We did have one item number 12, that Terry asked us to hold, and so now is there any action to be taken on that request or any modification to that request?
So I'm gonna,
You need a motion to come back into session, right?
We did that in there, it's already done.
We did here to come back in.
We
We did that in
adjourned
there.
executive session and
Okay, so
moved
you don't need a
to
motion.
regular session in there and report out no action taken.
Got it.
Just got something?
we good?
Yep,
Everybody okay with that?
yep.
So I want to modify that motion and make it a motion to approve up to and limited to $50,000 to be allocated to begin construction of commercial hangar from a Group 2 to a Group 3 hangar.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
So just so everybody in the public knows, we've got a tenant. We are trying to be politically or financially expedient with regards to how we're spending money for the county. There's a very expensive foam system that we would like to not have to put in, and Terry's gone to great lengths to find a much more financially and fiscally responsible way to get this done and bring a really great tenant into the airport. He's done a big a lot of heavy lifting on this to get it to a place where we think we can get it engineered and approved and save the county a couple $100,000 and the airport full. So that's what that's all about.
Just be clear, this is not the final bill. This is the bill to get started.
No, but overall, when it's all said and done, start to finish, we can avoid a very, very expensive and unnecessary and ineffective fire suppression system in the building and accommodate a much larger airplane that'll bring some much needed tax base to the county.
Appreciate you saying that. Letting them know.
It also accommodates the needs of the aircraft owner and the general opinion of aircraft owners that system is unnecessary and potentially harmful to very expensive aircraft. And so I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any negative? Motion carries unanimously. Is there any other comments or questions from board members? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries, we are adjourned. Thank you for your